Now then, everybody, thank you again for joining Foot Talkers. It's been an amazing first week, diving into the second week, and hopefully we have as much success as we did last week. So firstly, thank you very much for the support so far. It means the absolute world to me. Keep those comments coming through, and if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. It means a lot. It's hopefully going to help you out, and obviously it helps me out enormously with seeing the support that's coming through. So today's video, what I want to show you is the best meta formation for me in terms of an all-round formation being the 4-4-2. I'm probably not even exaggerating when I say I've seen hundreds of 4-4-2 formations online with tactics and stuff like that. Oh, I get into top 100 in the world, I do this and other. But you look at the team and they have got Team of the Year Ronaldo, Messi, got Pele, they've got Maldini. You know, it's just endless. They've got an unbelievable team. Not all of us can get them teams, and I get that completely. And it's something that genuinely you don't need to be a top 100 FIFA player to do well with this formation. You just got to be pretty much on it with it, if that makes sense. You've got to play a few games, get used to it, get used to where your players are going to be. And it's something that what I'm going to do now, I've set up, as you can see, a La Liga 4-4-2 team, and in game I'll just be putting Messi up front. I'll take that Elianusi out and probably put Dembele on one of the wings as well. So it all works really well for me because I will be using that Cucurella, to finish the objectives on him, so I can get his 87 rated card. So it's a win-win all over. But really, the main thing is that in every formation that you play, you've got to tweak your tactics ever so slightly. And if you've seen my 5-2-1-2 formation, you know, or the 4-2-3-1, they are always different because you need it to be different in terms of the way that you play in each formation. So what I wanted to do is actually just show you the in-game tactics to start with. So if I get to it, so balanced through defensive style. I've tried this formation with press after possession loss, which I do use in the 5-2-1-2, but I've just found myself getting very much exposed, and obviously not having the greatest team, you will notice it. And if you're in a similar position that you've not got top draw defenders and midfielders, that if you go onto that press after possession loss, or you're just going to kind of find yourself in a bit of a losing battle, just getting ball over top and you're getting counter-attacked on. So for me, balance seems to be the best approach for me. And width, I just pretty much stick to middle for diddle for both width and depth. It's worked really well. If anything, if you were trying to maybe tweak it a little bit and be a bit more attacking, you could just raise that one. I really wouldn't advise you go much more than that. And the same for depth, you don't really want to go much below 4 because again, you know, you find yourself sitting too far back into a position that you end up struggling to actually get any speed moving forward to break their defence. So stick to balance on both of them two, straight down the middle. Now, offensive again, this is something that I've tweaked around and played with, and you'll see quite a lot of people will either go for balanced or long ball, and there's a reason for it because they're the best two options really that you can have. I think for me personally, the long ball works well. Just as I was saying a minute ago, if you are the kind of player that likes to maybe attack and counter-attack style of play, long ball all day long. If you've got a few fast players in your team that can just break the line, or you've got a top passer in your midfield that can get that lofted through ball out wide and get the crosses in, 100% go for long ball. And you know, if you want to just go for balance, you'll find it'll work. It's a very strong formation, and it seems to be the most balanced, believe it or not, for tactic you can use. And it says all you need to read there. It says, this tactic is used for a balanced team that maintains its formation. Players will support and make runs when they think it's the right time to do so. So if you've got that good players, you know, I was saying, if you've got players that are 90 plus rated, they will have good AI and they'll break forward, they'll go into them gaps. But if you've not got that top formation of players in there, you're not going to get that off the ball run. So this is why on the long ball, the team will make runs for long balls into space behind the opposing back line. So straight away for me, perfect. I know that I've got players in my team and the ability to make that pass to go into, over the top or up to a target man. So again, if you've got somebody like a Wayne Rooney up front or one of the icons, you know that you're going to be able to make that space with a good striker up there. Strikers who are fast with a good attacking position attribute are the best at this tactic. So if you've ever played against that, what's it called now, that Spanish guy, you know, the little Butragueno, he is the worst player you can play against for that because he is just so fast. He just breaks the line. Again, if you're playing against teams or you've got a player like Team of the Year Mbappe, the best tactic you can use is that long ball approach all day long. So width, again, balanced. I've tried that out wide, further out wide. I've tried it a bit narrower, and if anything, I had more defensive shape, I suppose, with a 4, but in my width to ping the ball and switch play, I do like having 5 on there. So in essence, it's kind of like allowing me to be able to make the space by creating that width on the pitch. Players in the box, I always go a little bit more aggressive because again, I want to show players I'm actually committing to get into that box, and I think that tactic along with the offensive style of long ball works enormously well. And like all of it, I think this will be the case for any tactical formation that I do. Corners 2, free kicks 2, just creates that space for you. So that is the tactics for the in-game play. Instructions, this is I suppose again slightly different to a lot of formations that I use. So I tend to have in the 5-2-1-2 attackers going forward or balanced at least one of them. But on this one I have stay back whilst attacking, interceptions kind of like just standard run type overlap, and I think I've got overlap on pretty much all my formations. Centre backs, stay back and conservative just because there's not worse than a player just darting in kind of like to snatch a ball and miss it and then easy goal. Same for you. Both centre backs, same. And then for my left back, same as my right back. Stay back, normal, overlap. So that's my defence sorted out. I never touch my goalkeeper. I know that some people want to kind of like tweak that a little bit, but in all honesty, I've only ever had problems and I've blamed the tactics that I've used if ever the keeper's made a mistake. And we all know keepers are very prone to making mistakes on this FIFA. So onto my wingers, because I'm slightly different with having a player like Messi in there. I have it as a stay forward, cut inside, because he's not going to do much help from me coming back, and you know what he's like with his left foot. If you can get him onto that, boom, perfect. And like I said, in game, I may change Messi, put him up front, and put Dembele onto that onto that right hand side. And again, it allows him to come inside naturally, or let me run down the wing and do it 5-star weak foot, I think he is. But supporting runs, getting behind, and then support and crosses balanced, and then interceptions balanced. Because he's not going to do much for me in terms of defensive work. Into your centre midfielders, I always have one stay back, one just balanced. So in this case, I've got Saul as stay back whilst attacking, support and crosses balanced, interceptions balanced, because again, I don't want him to be too aggressive on this. Cover wing balanced and default, and then again stick to position as standard. So I didn't really change too much on that. The other player, always if you've got more attack minded or a better player that's got that great shot in his locker like I have with Cruz now, attacking, just balance. I don't want it to be up, I don't want it to go onto the I don't want it to go for get forward, simply because they might not be able to get back. I've tried it and sometimes I've just found myself a bit too exposed through the middle. So balance there, balance on the runs, normal interception. I haven't touched anything for that left centre mid. Onto my left wing, come back on defence just because he's a bit more all-round player. I've already got Messi on the other wing staying forward, so again just gives me that more coverage. Stay wide, get in behind, so there and then get into the box crosses. So it's just creating that additional player in the box for if I have that attacking presence going forward. It may confuse their defence slightly. That always works amazingly well for me. And on this one, I've just gone for a bit more of an aggressive interception, simply because he is a stronger all-round left midfielder to be able to work forward and backwards, so hopefully it breaks them lines a little bit more. And then both my strikers, supporting runs, I've got as kind of just balanced. Never really change that too much unless I might be using somebody like, I don't know, so maybe if I had Messi up front naturally from the beginning, I might want him to drop back a little bit. Or if I had a target man, maybe like a Suarez, I'd have him as, you know, like again, balanced there, but attacking runs, I'd probably have target man there. But just for this one here, because I'm going to have Messi and João Felix up front, it's balanced supporting runs, and then getting behind, standard normal for interceptions, and again, defensive support, just standard. Again, just the same. Both strikers the same. Both centre-backs the same. Centre midfielders are similar, but just one stay back. So it is kind of a very simple process of how you do it. And as you can see, it's always good. As you can see, there's always room for improvement in teams. This is just, I know I've got Team of the Year Messi in there, but the rest of it, they're not overly expensive players. I reckon take Messi out of that team, and obviously Toni Kroos is a sort of like player review that I did yesterday. There isn't an awful much amount of coins in it, so it'd be interesting to see how this team gets on against the big boys. So what I'm going to do is just going to show you a bit of gameplay in the match. It will be better quality than yesterday's in-game match. I don't know what went on with that one, so apologies for that. But yeah, let's see how it goes forward in this, and let's break the lines and win the game with this meta 4-4-2, guys. Right then, so in-game, this is kind of like how it all goes down. I wanted to show you a few clips of defensive mistakes that I did, not just naming out on the formation. And what I noticed when I first got into this, I was a bit gung-ho, thinking I was playing in my 5-2-1-2. If that's an excuse, that's what I'm going for. You can see there's plenty of movement, there's loads of people in the right positions. But what I did, I just went to attack straight away. He had Mbappe and Neymar, and look at the gap. I can't believe my keeper didn't stop it though. I genuinely think he should have done it. I called him early enough. But on the flip side, what I started to do then, I kind of got a bit of an idea of how I was playing. So I was still aggressive, but not gung-ho aggressive. Passing wise, if you held on to it with your centre midfielders, I'm fortunate to have that Kroos in my team, but you can see there's plenty of width with that formation tactics in game. There's plenty of players moving forward, and you can see in game there's that ability to get your players from defence to attack quite quickly. Same on this one here, you can see runners infield, it's just a bad pass at the end that lets it down. Good clearance. But the idea is this pressure, like relentless pressure in the right positions. I've got my defensive midfielder holding into that position where he needs to be to cover the defence. And then this is just a bit fortunate. I think because it was Messi, Team of the Year, basically it's like shooting against a bronze goalkeeper. So again, you can see when gaps open up for me, if I lose it in a bad area, bang! You know, I think he had like 2 or 3 shots and he scored from them. It was my fault just because I lost it in bad places or I was just too attacking. But again, from an attacking front, you could see certainly that there were plenty of movement in field. Going into it here again, nice cutback. Felix is always going to score that. And then what this guy was doing, he was just going straight down the middle. So I kept dropping my defensive midfielder right back into that defensive, like the central defensive position between my 2 centre backs, if that makes sense, just to give it that extra cover. And then to pass it out, there were loads of space. And then again, defensive, you can see there's plenty of cover back there. Passing it around, loads of time on the ball. If you're good at passing around, you know, the give and go runs, you will get plenty of space. Again, out wide, there's movement off ball. Cutting the lines up with the passing. You know, what I would say is if you had a better team than what I'm playing with, you will have a lot of fun with a 4-4-2 formation. Again, just kind of like you can see right now, I've got players off the ball running I think again, because it's Messi, you get that little bit of luck and bounce and fortune with it getting through. But that's how the first half ended. Then it didn't really offer much threat other than his two big boys up front, which I knew. I missed the record of of the next goal. It was just a cheeky dink through the middle. But I think at that point he was starting to get a little bit gung ho himself and just missed a pass out there. And I think they've just gone 5-2. Again, when we're looking at this, you've plenty of runners off the ball. This is nothing changed tactic-wise from what I was showing you. Plenty of movement. Again, this is a point where I'm thinking, oh, have I gone a bit gung-ho again? But fortunately, I managed to break it down. And with that, I've still got those plays upfield. Control it a little bit, pass it around, a couple of 1-2s here and there. Beautiful passing. And again, what you find when you've got somebody like Messi, you can just do that. Piece of cake. Really easy. And that's how it finished, guys. It was really, really easy game, to be honest. It's something that in the 4-4-2, what I would 100% say is bear with it. You know, it does take a couple of games to get used to your change of formation. If you've been playing in a completely different formation, you think, yeah, I've done well with that, but I fancy a change. Honestly, just bear with it. Maybe 5 or 6 games. I genuinely think after 5 or 6 games, you'll be in a position where you'll know how to play, how aggressive you need to be, how defensive you might need to be. But on the whole, I genuinely think the 4-4-2 is one of them formations that it's great against a good team. You know, like if you're playing against a team where you think I could get broke here quite easily, but you don't want to go for the 5 at the back, that formation works really, really well. But what I would say is, if you are playing against somebody that you know just isn't at the same level as you, and you're a step above them, let's say, or you know that you're going to beat them, because some games you just do know, I would revert to a different formation. I'd probably go for the 4-2-3-1, but genuinely, in terms of meta tactics for this 4-4-2, I don't think you'll get it much better than what I could offer you there. It just genuinely depends on how different you might play to the likes of me. If you've got not so fast players, you might not want to do the long ball. You might just want to go for balanced in the offensive tactics. But other than that, guys, I'd say, yeah, give it a go. See how you feel. Hopefully this has been a bit informative for you, and it's been, it's given you that understanding of how I can play with it, showing you the in-game tactics as well as the gameplay. Hopefully you see how they come into play. But once again, guys, it's a huge thank you from me just for the support that we've had over the last week. Hopefully that keeps growing and the support is not going unnoticed. It means the world. So for today, guys, that's everything. If you've got any comments, please mention below. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. But for now, toodaloo.